Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday, August 11th, 2020, and this is the Flight Sim News. So, just when you thought the Fighter Pilot podcast might be running out of planes to cover, the latest episode dropped yesterday, the 10th, and it is on the Army Flight School.
Seat to the right seat is the right seat the more senior seat?
It depends, honestly.
Okay.
You'll write down what seat do you want to fly in today, but it's known as becoming a pilot in command, and it varies based on the maturity of the pilot and the flight hours and their experience.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, this episode is about 52 minutes and 7 seconds long, and as always, Jello puts together a fantastic show. And like I said, just when I thought they were, possibly running out of things to cover, because they really have covered pretty much the majority of the cool planes that, everybody wants to hear about. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot more left, but, the F-16, the F-15, the F-22, all the ones that, everybody wants to hear about has already been covered. And I'm glad to see that they're able to come up with more ideas for future shows. And Army Flight School is pretty cool. It's all about helicopters in general. So check it out for yourself. And I'll throw a link in the video description so you can do just that. Alright, this was posted the other day. I missed this in my excitement to get the news bit out there about the dynamic campaign from DCS. But Han has posted a rather lengthy update. This one covers the Hawker Typhoon that they're going to be including in the Normandy Great Battles, which is looking pretty fantastic. The second thing he says that we will show you today is important to owners of all products in the IL-2 Great Battle series. We're talking about a new map. The new, oh god, I can't pronounce this, I'm gonna butcher it. Veliki Luki Summer 1941. He says this will be made available to everyone in the next update. This map was developed on a personal basis by one of our map team members, and although it does not include all of our most modern tech, such as buildings with increased detail, thanks to the creativity and variety of the implemented terrain and scenery, it looks extremely interesting and will add a lot of variety to your flights. The Luki Summer map, as well as an improved and updated winter version, will be available to all players. A lot could be written about the positive aspects of this map, but it seems to us that it is better to show you them in the following screenshots. That looks pretty cool. I'm always a sucker for a new map in a new area to fly over. It's just one of those things that I seem to enjoy. Alright, the third bit of news is that work on the Battle of Normandy is progressing not only in terms of creating new aircraft, but also in other directions. For instance, a lot has already been done in creating the map, which will include some promising new technologies for our series, but it's still early and we plan to show the progress on the development of the map later. Additionally, aircraft crews are also being created, as you already know. The G-suits worn by the USAAF pilots appeared after the events of Normandy, and therefore we created a model of an American pilot in an earlier uniform. Very nice. And in first for the combat sim genre, the U2V's Yak-1 Series 69 and Yak-1B Series 127 aircraft will receive a Soviet female pilot option. We have completed the process of animating the new female pilot model, and they will be available in the upcoming 4.009 update. It is these aircraft that have the greatest basis for possessing this modification, because the famous Night Witches from the 588th Night Light Bomber Aviation Regiment, say that real quick, fought in the U-2, and the heroic ace pilot of the Soviet Air Force Guards Jr., Lieutenant Lydia Vladimirovna Litviak and her fellow female squadron mates flew the Yak-1 and Yak-1B. Also, the U-2VS aircraft will receive new models of male pilots. And there is a look at the female pilots in action. Very nice indeed. And to finish today's dev blog, here is the news about the Tank Crew project. As we said earlier, the completion of the vehicle lineup does not mean that work on improving it has stopped. Update 4.009 will introduce a lot of new features and will definitely give you an interesting new experience in our tank simulator. Drivers of German Panzers and the Sherman tank will have the opportunity to use the course director. KV1's PZKPFW3 AUSF.M and Sherman tank drivers interact with the pneumatic fuel gauges in a realistic way. The working sounds of the radio motor generators were added to all tanks, and German tanks have working gyro compass sound as well. All traveling locks of turrets, main, and machine guns are now animated and have sounds as well. In general, due to these changes, the sound environments inside a tank has become richer and more realistic. DT and M2.50 cal machine guns now have a working range correction setting. Other changes have been made to improve the player experience. Many of you previously expressed the opinion that one cannot fully discover the possibilities of the project due to the lack of a description of what equipment each tank has and how to use the equipment. To resolve this issue, a new station notes dialog has been implemented, which can be invoked at any time by pressing the escape button. And here are images of an adjustable iron sights. This must be the station notes. Very nice. That would really come in handy because I have absolutely no clue what to do inside of these tanks. And this is the number one reason I usually just jump in there for about 3 or 4 minutes and then just hit escape and walk back out because it's a bit overwhelming. So maybe the station notes will help me, maybe not. I'm not sure. But that covers this rather lengthy update on the 4.009 update that is coming and the things that they're doing. With the Hawker Typhoon, with the new map, with the new models, with the female models, and everything that they've done to Tank Crew. It looks like a pretty fantastic update, and since they put this out on Friday, I'm almost guessing they're going to drop that update this week, so I'm going to be looking for that. Alright, next up. So, in my haste to get the update out there, in my excitement as well over the dynamic campaign that Eagle Dynamics is working on, they go on to talk about the Eurofighter development report here, which I did include, but I don't know if anybody scrolled down because I kind of stopped right here, dynamic campaign engine. But so in addition to that screenshot right there, it looks like the guys at True Grit are dumping most of their newer images on their Instagram page and not updating it to their Facebook. So here's a shot of the new cockpit, which looks pretty fantastic. And there's another shot right there. But they did have a development update included in there. And in addition, they talked about P-47 Thunderbolt upgrades on Friday too. About working on bomb arming controls and detonation setup adjustments. They're also working on the D30 and D40 variants. Both versions include new modifications and improved damage modeling. These updates will be available in the upcoming DCS World Open Beta updates. Fair enough. I really do enjoy the Thunderbolt, so I'm looking forward to those improvements for sure. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. Alright, next up is Pollychop Simulations. These guys have been putting out a screenshot of the week on their Facebook page for weeks now, and I've been forgetting to include them. I'm really looking forward to this. It looks pretty fantastic, and this is going to be a fun little whirly bird to get our hands on. And I can't wait to see it happen. The last thing I heard about this was that I think it's done and handed over to Eagle Dynamics for approval. and then any tweaks or adjustments will be made from there, and then hopefully we'll be seeing it soon. I don't know how long that process takes. I believe I read somewhere it can take 1 to 2 months. So here's to hoping we see that Kiowa Warrior here really soon. I'll throw a link to their Facebook page in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. Well, our good friend Iain Christie is at it again. This time out, it's Scooter and the Bridge. This is a rather quick one. It's only about 42 seconds. Boom. I like Iain's videos. He provided me with a bunch of links to some of the missions that he has going on. I'm going to take a look at them when I get a minute here, and I'll provide them to you guys as well. Very cool stuff, and seems like a real good guy. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. All right, last up is another Syria video from Matt Wagner. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. I'm just going to say it's the newest Syria video, this time out with a Huey.
Hey everyone, Wags here from Eagle Dynamics, and in this video of the Syria map for DCS World.
I really like the Huey in DCS. I'm looking forward
And one
to
thing
finding
that I certainly noticed looking over Google Earth images is that there are a lot of aerial tankers at this airbase.
Looks like this is going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, at this point we're coming along the north side of the airbase, flying to the west to say that Ukraine media is very aware of the desire for Cyprus and expanded portion of the Mediterranean Sea. And we'll work with them to make that happen. It's just exact details of how this will happen and when this will happen.
This video is about 16 minutes and 54 seconds. We'll just say 17 minutes long. I'll definitely throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. So I think that about covers it for the Flight Sim News today. And as to what am I up to this week, well, I've been digging into Desert Wings, two brick, toe brick, potato, whatever the case may be. I have been playing through Desert Wings, and I've seen a lot of negative comments, and that's kind of a bummer. Now, I understand some of the frustration that I'm seeing from people because, let's be honest, the graphics aren't, IL-2 Great Battles quality. They aren't DCS quality. From what I understand, Cliffs of Dover Blitz was completed in, 2017? And that was still based on a product that originally came from, 2011? And I'll be the first to admit the desert terrain is looking pretty bland in that at times. The little cities they've created, I think, look fantastic, though. And they're very adequate for performing missions over. I've had no problems, once I've got in there. The detail of the cockpits are fantastic. I don't have an issue with them. Everything is legible. Everything looks the part. The sensation of flight is great. The damage model seems to be fun. I've just had fun with it. And at the end of the day, I think it's more important to have fun in a flight sim than it is to have all the eye candy in the world at times. And I know we have the technology to have it all, but I think it's funny that I see people complain about the graphics and that, yet most people are willing to play VR, which you have to turn down the graphics so low that they look worse. Like, I think DCS and VR, for the most part, I think looks worse than what you can get out of like Desert Wings at the highest possible resolution. I really do. And the frame rates are fantastic in Desert Wings. So again, I've been playing through one of the campaigns so far. I'm having a blast. I'm just having fun. And the other thing is how much do we pay for a module in DCS? And Eagle Dynamics, I'll be the first to admit as well that, they don't give you much for your money. They never have. You know, you're lucky if you get a full campaign with any module that you buy anymore. I mean, granted, some of the modules do come with a reasonable campaign, but it's few and far between. If you buy a Warbird in DCS, man, you're lucky if you get any content. So at, you know, $50, $60, $70, or $80 a pop, which most of these modules end up costing before any sales, that's the cost of admission for the entire Desert Wings expansion from Team Fusion Simulations. And I've got, what, 40 planes? And I can't even tell you how many missions. There's well more than 5 campaigns worth of content in there, and that's just off the top of my head. So something to consider. I wouldn't overlook it completely because the graphics are a little bit dated. And the interface is definitely dated. I mean, those are the things that I had to overcome. During the beta phase, I was playing it, and I'm just like, oh, this interface is fucking terrible. Oh, sometimes the graphics aren't that great. But then when I got in there and I started flying the planes and I jumped into like the Tomahawk and the Stuka, and I just realized I forgot all about that. I was having fun. So something to think about, guys. It really is. It is a big task to create what they did from an older product like that. But I think there's a niche for it. You know what I mean? I really do think that, you know, it's taking place in an area that we just don't have in any other World War II aviation sims out there. And it is good fun. At the end of the day, it's good fun. And that's what I like the most about it so far. You know? It's not the prettiest girl in the club, but it's the one that's going to be the most fun. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, guys.